Hi, I'm Miriam Joy and welcome to my studio. Today we're going to go into the Miriam Joy vault and pull out some of my Christmas videos that I think you really enjoy. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Miriam Joy and welcome to my studio. Today we're working on our frosted Christmas tree, and this looks like frosting, but it's going to be something you're going to have for years to come, and you can have so much fun decorating it with family or making it and giving it as gifts. Let's get started. For this project we're going to be using caulk silicone, and this is Alex Fast Dry. You can paint it in 20 minutes, but that does not mean it is ready in 20 minutes. We'll talk about dry time a little bit later, but it is important to get this brand. I've been using this brand for several years. You do want the white. You don't want it clear. I do not have a problem with this turning yellow on me. It really holds its color and it is nice and stable. I don't have any problems with it falling apart as well. I do purchase mine at Walmart. I can find it for about under $3, so check there. And if not, you could probably find it at any of your hardware stores or things like that. You can cut it off with your scissors depending on how fast you want it to come out. You may want it smaller, you may want it bigger. On mine it also has a tip cutter that you can cut the tip off as well. This is just a caulking gun. You can find it in the section with the caulking as well, and we're just going to dispense it that way as we go. When I'm done with it, I just use a little plastic bag and a rubber band around it. You can just use saran wrap or something like that as well. And I have stored this for months at a time and have never had a problem with it drying out. So that is what we're going to be using. So let's get started on our project. So now that you know about our special frosting, this is going to take quite a bit. And I may even have to fill this up a couple times. We'll kind of see as we go. And it's going to also depend on the size of your tree. And I'm going to be using leaf green for this project, and I'm going to be using food coloring. And it does last, and this tree should last you for years to come. And I'm just using a popsicle stick to kind of mix it up. And the color does get darker as it dries. So I'm going to mix this up, get my color where I want it, and then we'll get it put into our frosting bag. The one precaution I want to give you is this looks so good. It looks like frosting, and I can't tell you how tempted I've even been to lick my fingers. So be careful if you have little kids around. You don't want them to accidentally lick their fingers, or if they're helping you, or if you leave it down and set and walk out of the room. Just be careful of little people walking in and trying to eat it. Okay, now that I've got my color done, we're going to put it into our saran wrap, and this makes cleanup so much easier. I'm using a disposable container of any kind. This one has a lid, so if I wanted to just leave my frosting where I wanted it, I can. It's not going to go bad on me right away. I can leave it for several days or probably even several weeks depending on how big or how much air is in there. And then when you're done, you can just throw it away. We do not want any of this going down your sink. It is silicone, so that's something I want you to think about We do not want to put any of it down the sink. It does wash off with warm water and soap. So that is a good thing to know. And I try to get this as cleaned out as I can. If you want to use it again, then just take a paper towel and wipe that out really, really well. So I'm going to wipe my spatula off with my paper towel and clean it that way. And then what tiny bit is left, I'll wash off with warm water and soap. So, okay, we're going to take our paper towel, saran wrap, and we're going to bend that part down now. And then we're going to take this part and we're going to twist it. We're going to use a disposable bag so we can throw it away, or you can use them again. I use mine several times over. I already have the bottom part in it. And I'm going to twist this up a little bit more here. So I have this twisty part, and I can get this down through that tip. And we'll pull it at that tip. We'll bring that back up. So working around it. Pull that out. Cut that off with our scissors. We're going to be using a Wilton 21 shell. It may also be called a star tip. We're going to put that right on there. And then we're going to start our Christmas tree. Now that we've colored our frosting, we put it in our bag, there's a couple ways we could do it. We could come in and we could spread this with a knife, and so that you wouldn't have to worry about any of the white showing through. And I am using a 6-inch cone. You might also even be able to use a cone that you make out of poster paper or something along those lines. And I'm just going to try and cover up this bottom though and just see if that's all I need to cover up, and we'll take it from there. But that way you could make it as tall or as big. I found my cone at Dollar Tree, but I know that the craft stores have them different shapes, not shapes, but sizes, so you could have different heights, which I think would be really cool. And there'd be nothing wrong with doing it out of the paper. So once we've got that started, I am going to just kind of hold this because you want to think about getting in the way. And I think once I get it up right about here, I can set it down and turn it. And I've got a piece of parchment paper, wax paper, something like that underneath it so that I don't have to move this while it is drying. So we're just going to do a shell. We're going to do push and pull. We don't want that past the bottom of our tree or our cone, and we're going to bring that up. And I know the white would have shown there, and we may go back and do a little bit more underneath. And if you're not quite as neat, then you may want to go ahead and spread all of that kind of frosting like all the way up to the top. And this is going to take quite a bit of our special frosting. I've got my bag at least half of it full. I may have to see if I need to go back and do more or not. And I have that one a little bit too far away. I'm just going to bring that up and spread it, and we'll wipe this off. But I don't want to set this down yet. And if it's getting too soft, kind of let it sit for a minute. Now we're going to kind of come in and try to do these in between. It may not work all the way around. You might have to jump, but just make sure that we're trying to alternate them when we can, but we're going from big to small. So you're going to have to catch up once in a while. And the more you space those out, the more as well too. So I'm going to go ahead and see how this next layer is going here, if I'm going to have to coat this or not. And then I'm probably going to set this down and start turning it as I go. I think to just be safer, I do have some white kind of showing, but you always could come back later. But I think it would be easier if you just went ahead and base coated it with the frosting. Or you could put green paint underneath it, the color of your frosting. That would be another thing that you could do. So I've done 3 layers already. And I've got to squish my bag up. I didn't want to quite set my tree down yet. And I think I'm going to definitely need more frosting as I'm going. And I'm just going to continue to work up the tree as I am going. So I've stopped because I need to get some more icing. So I am going to take my lid off. I'm just going to leave all the frosting inside. I'm not going to empty that out right now. And we'll just screw it on and start from there. So we're just going to pull out our bag. And if you need to clean that out a little bit, you can do so. With a paper towel, just kind of get that cleaned out. If you don't want to worry about it, you don't have to worry about it. You just want to make sure that there's not enough there that you can't get that next bag down through the hole. I did decide to come back and put some frosting in this, and I leave things like this in my videos for a reason. First of all, I'm not perfect, and sometimes we learn as we go, and sometimes when I first do the project, and it can be months until I can come back and get it filmed, and I may forget. But I want you to be encouraged to do your own thing and know that it's normal to kind of question what you're doing or how you may do it. The reason I decided to frost is because we're changing as we're coming, especially as we're getting smaller, and it's going to be dropping even more so, and I don't want those little white things to show through. And I won't worry about those so much on that layer. And I'm just using my spatula. This is my craft spatula. It does not go back into the kitchen anymore. It is for crafts only. So that is something I also want to let you know. So I'm just going to finish covering this up, and then we're going to start applying our shells again. So we've gone all the way to the top. Unfortunately, my cone kind of stops without a tip, and I'm trying to think about what I'm going to put on the top of this. And I made my shells smaller as I went towards the top, so I might just see if that will work. And I'm just going to keep on kind of going a little bit here. I think I'm going to put a bell or something like that in it. So whatever yours is, try to use it to the best of your ability. Once you do more than one, it's going to get prettier each time. And if you're a cake decorator, I'm sure you could make mine look like a child's tree. So don't be afraid to just add your own thing to it and put your special touch to it. So I think I'm going to quit right there. We're going to talk about our tip this is going to take a couple days to dry, so we're going to kind of talk about some different things here. If you still have frosting in it and you want to use it, continue to use it, just cover it up with saran wrap and a tight rubber band and put it in a baggie, and it's going to stay fresh. Not anything that you would have to worry about. Now, if you want to just do the tree, then after we put the glitter on, you can let it dry, and we can put all types of glitter on this tree. You can do whatever you want. We may have to kind of put it on sideways a little bit, so we'll have to think about that because it's not just straight up and down. But there's all kinds of glitter that's out there that's really cool. You might want to come in with your hand and do it as well. It may be easier to get it kind of in on those sides a little bit, because this is going to be a little bit tricky here, and that's okay. Or putting it on that way too. So you want to put your glitter definitely on while it is wet, so think about that. And if you want to put ornaments on, we need to do it while it is wet. If you're not going to put the ornaments on and after you put glitter, or you may not even want glitter, then you can let it dry, and this is going to take, I would probably give this one at least 3 days to dry all the way through, but that is up to you. But if you're not going to if you're going to put the ornaments on, then we're going to varnish it after we get the glitter on. And we're going to be just using any type of varnish that you're comfortable with. And the only thing that I want to tell you is non-yellowing and Rust-Oleum Crayola. Do it in a well-ventilated area. And the reason we're going to put it on, because it's going to keep all of this nice and dry, but we don't want it on our ornaments. We don't want that extra coat. It's going to take away any shine or sparkle, but we want it to seal, keep our color, as well as hold the glitter into place. So that's kind of when to apply the glitter, so you have to kind of decide which of those methods that you want to do. And I probably am going to think about doing a couple of different glitters on this. I love the tinsel glitter. I may think about that, or I may think about a darker octagon glitter on this tree as well. I spray varnish mine. You might want to let it dry. It can be matte, it can be gloss, it can be whatever you want. I'm going to put some garland on, and this is just a string of pearls. I think red would be really, really pretty, but I don't happen to have red, and I do have white, which we've got to be careful because we don't want to mess this up because it's still wet. So kind of have an idea where you're going with it. Put it on, do not move it around. What you want to do is kind of scooch it in a little bit, but kind of know where you're going. And that one I took up when I should have been taken down. So, and you're going to probably have one side that's going to look better like mine, so that's kind of up to you as well. So, kind of drop the scale a little bit here. The nice thing is we're going to come and we're going to put ornaments on it, so any part that we messed up, we can kind of come back in and cover it up a little bit with any area that's really bad. So, and this is where it really gets fun. You can use a star, you can use whatever you want on top. I was trying to find some stars, but I'm going to use a jingle bell. That's kind of what I thought thought would look good on mine. But we have little jingle bells. We have these little snowflake cabajons at miriamjoy.com, as well as our little snowflakes. And I think the snowflakes, I might kind of do kind of a combination of both of these. I really think these are cute. If you don't like the holes in between these, you can put a rhinestone on top of them, but you want to make sure that you push these in enough that we have them nice and secure. And just put whatever you want where you want it. So there's all kinds of fun ways that you can decorate this tree. So I've got all my decorations on. You want to make sure that they're pushed in and they're nice and secure. If any of them should happen to fall out after you're done and your tree is dry, just glue them on with E6000. It's not a big deal. Throw away most of your stuff. Push this out with your finger. Get most of this out. You do have a little brush that you use for frosting in your frosting department. Just clean that out with warm water and soap. And throw away your bag, and that very tip, again, just clean it out with warm water and soap, and you're good to go. Just do what you love, have it a fun family thing, and just decorate the tree the way your family would. That your tree is dried and you have it nice and stiff, you also could paint the bottom or put some frosting on the bottom. You could E6000 it on to, or however you think you want to attach it, to a candlestick holder. And there's lots of ways that you can do those. I really like the short one, but you could also pick up one from the 99-cent store. So there's a bunch of different ways. And then you would have different heights, and it's nice to have different heights, especially when it comes to decorating. But just use your imagination, use your touch, and how you would like to do it, and let the artist shine in you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTubes, and please share them so that we can continue to bring you more. Have a Merry Christmas.